reliance on yellow. From Nomads, we're seeing quite a few good players showing up, especially I want to highlight Sour and Thomas doing a fantastic. There goes Maverick. So he wasn't played at all last map, but still definitely not going to be played this map. But the reliance on yellow, and I don't mean like they were literally relying on him, but the fact that he was really the only one making huge impact plays for Sinister.
Yellow on attack was disgusting.
Yeah.
He was just tearing through people, and very impressive, yes.
And it's just the case where I needed to see that from the rest of Sinister, and we're not seeing that on attack or defense that last map. So if they can show up, more of them can show up this map, and maybe less of Nomads can show up, this could be Sinister's map finally. But they are going to go for that Lion Band. No surprise there. I believe we didn't see a mirror. Yeah, we didn't see a mirror band. No, we did on border last time. What am I saying? The more typical.
Well,
one.
in the previous match, we saw a mirror band.
Yeah.
Not in this one.
Yeah, I was just thinking it was the previous map that we just didn't see it last map. So most likely to be the last band here to come out. And there it is.
Definitely a good call there. Valkyrie also being banned out on border makes a lot of sense. All of these bans make sense for the map and for the teams involved. So we will see Sinister be back where they are most comfortable, which is that attacking side. The Nomads, on the other hand, are going to have to struggle through their defense as they did in the previous match. If they can manage to take out 2 rounds, you got to imagine they're going to be much more comfortable as they go on to attack.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to be the case on Bank, although to be fair, that was also 4 attack rounds in a row once they switched sides, which was far from the case that we saw from Sinister. We will see them starting on vents, though, interestingly enough, instead of armory lockers. So they will be going to a different side. And then a 6-pick from a bandit to a maestro. I feel like that's one of those, you don't usually see that kind of swap. I mean, I don't know, it just seems odd for some reason.
Well, the bandit is to counter, of course, that hard destruction, all but Maverick, who has been banned out, that is. And, of course, the maestro is just for that indirect denial, you know, as much control as you can gather, and information, too. But also, speaking of unusual, a defense of ventilation as the primary bomb site. Looks like they're going to be going for an open area, or sorry, an open bathroom strategy as well. Instead of reinforcing the wall, they're going to use the rotation holes from those impacts in the middle of the wall, too, instead of the far left.
That's an odd choice. I mean, I don't think it's a huge difference, but it's definitely a difference, and it could factor in to a small extent, but it is odd to see that be the choice to get that one instead of the far left one that you see there.
But the choice it be.
Yep.
Now, also the rotation hole into B, which is kind of, you know, predictable.
Yeah, that is super typical.
And all these holes that are being opened up upstairs are very telling of, hey, we're going to hold on to armory as long as we possibly can, because that's how they are going to choose to try and deny the defuse plant in the B bomb site. Now, it's a big risk, because when you open up those holes in armory, you're also leaving yourself exposed. If the attackers should take armory from you, then they now have full vertical control, and you've already gifted them the holes that they would need in order to deny your rotation back into B. Now, of course, with the amount of, or the copious amount of soft destruction that Sinister has, it's not really going to matter either way, but something to consider.
Yeah, definitely going to make a difference here. Like you said, a lot of soft destruction means they can get a lot of angles. That combined with the Capitao and the grenades is actually going to make for some good use of that vertical destruction that they're going to get from the soft destructors. And the lack of bandit here to stop this means it's all going to be on Rainbow to try and hold this as long as he can. And if he's smart, fall back safely to site. If he gets overpressured and just give it up, burn as much time as he can. He's going to have some help from X as well, but they both fall off very quickly. Maybe a little too quickly. They probably could have done some pre-fires first just to make them have to drone it out more carefully, especially the small office. But either way, they're still alive, and that's the important part.
Grenade here from Yellow, looking to get the Maestro cam, but he's going to miss it. And now he's trying to get up as the sledge uses hammer to destroy that, but he can just shoot it. Oh, wow. This is,
he might die to this.
This is really, really not good for Yellow. He's lost, even if he doesn't, oh no, the Legion trap as well. Yellow on such low HP, and Sinister have managed to get control of the top floor, but at what cost to Yellow's dignity?
At this point, I got to imagine Yellow seeing red. That is just unfortunate for him. He's still alive, though, and able to open up at least the floor before he potentially dies. But Chapstick finding a kill into Sour early is good, just considering what we saw from Sour on Bank.
But mostly Sour when he was switched over to attack.
To be fair, yeah.
On attack, or on defense, he really wasn't doing a whole lot. He was helping, sure, but you know, he wasn't standing out from the crowd.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this earlier, those holes that were made, and now that the attackers can make are going to allow for such ridiculous amount of control for the attackers. If they want to push into B, they could do so with relative ease.
Well, it looks like they're considering that, and it looked like they're trying to decide whether or not to keep that castle barricade on the front door or open it up, because it does offer the possibility for some runouts even. In this case, they could actually encapsulate more of the B site. But at the same time, you might want to open it later just to be able to get some angles in once you go for the plant. But all this utility coming out to stop the plant, and Rainbow successfully getting a kill onto Talon.
After that kill, Sinister in a really good position, and you can hear the plant going down. Thomas cut down from above. Yellow, good positioning there. X will deny the initial plant on 0-0-0. There's no time for the attackers. Oh no, X, what are you doing? Fantastic play there. And what seemingly was a Sinister round will actually go the way of Nomads, thanks to X's good situational awareness.
Good call out from the Maestro as well, who was not able to get the kill. He called out the exact positioning, so you saw X just shoot that through the floor, or I mean go prone on the floor and shoot that through the wall, and that absolutely worked out, because had he not killed the defuse planter, of course, they probably would have got it, managed to get out the window, and that would have been a tough retake. So great execution and communication there. And we will be going up to Armory Lockers this time. As you said, though, giving up that top floor control definitely did cost them with those holes, because that could have gone Sinister's way.
Yeah, and it was thanks to those pre-prepared holes that was the case, as you remarked on. So, I mean, they would have opened them anyway, to be fair. But
yeah, with all the soft destructors like you mentioned.
Now, Armory Lockers, the next defense for Nomads. So they went to the abnormal, now they're going to the normal, and we'll see what they can do here. The fact that Nomads managed to win that previous round is really important, because as we talked about before, Nomads clearly are more comfortable on attack. If they can manage to get 2 rounds on defense, then going onto their attacking side, I'm sure they'll be much more comfortable.
Yeah, I definitely think Sinister probably didn't know that Nomads were going to be playing that as their first bomb site. That might have helped a little bit as well. They're going to read into this pick, though, as being the very likely second pick and have the proper utility for that. They are going to bring a Thatcher, which is going to help them get that wall open, because Sour is going to be playing that Bandit to try and stop that wall. And of course, they have the Zofia potentially to be able to open up the floor below him, and they can also huck grenades up from Yellow if they want to. So it's going to be a hard time here for Sour. If he can hold out fairly long against the Thatcher, great, but most likely he's going to have to fall off in that wall if they're being efficient on Sinister. Should get opened within the first minute, and they should start to establish control of CCTV, like I said, if they're being efficient.
Big if there. It's not an easy thing to be. I mean, sometimes you get distracted by some things and everything starts to slow down for you, whether you be an attacker or defender, it can happen. As defense, it's a good thing, though. You always want to waste that clock as much as possible. Now, this top floor hold, where they were defending the bottom floor and they had a lot of pressure upstairs, a lot of roamers and a lot of utility put up top. Here on the top floor, they're not really roaming much downstairs. Cookies is going to take out Rainbow, so that was a very early kill. The run out from the Jaeger, not seeing success, but Thomas will actually finally get the kill. Cookies goes down, and the Legion supporting his teammate and understanding what was trying to be accomplished there. Yeah,
good reading into the fact that he was at low health, as I imagine that was probably communicated. I imagine the Rainbow going, I lit him up, something like that. And just, going, Tomas, I can take him out. Let me finish the job there. So that makes it a nice trade. And that was, I'd say, a pretty good trade in favor of the defenders, though, taking out the Zofia, as the Jaeger had mostly done his job already. So far, this is Nomad's favor, despite a little bit of damage on Thomas. We'll see, though. They are starting to open up this office wall. We were talking about what I said they'd be doing if they were efficient. Of course, that was assuming an A take. Instead, it looks like they're going for a very clear take onto the offices and archives. They have the setup for it, though, and that again is where the Thatcher and the Thermite will still be useful in trying to pressure that office wall. Unfortunately, though, for the Sledge of Yellow, he could not get the hits he wanted, and then Chap going down. Sour going to finish that off, but Tomas did finally fall from that damage, and that makes it a 3v3. But again, still, I'd say maybe a little bit in the favor of the defenders here. especially now that the hard breacher is down. They can secure the archives a little bit better, assuming that you don't get a jump in from Talon.
It's a decent setup here, but they know they've got to deal with that bandit. The C4 at the worst possible moment from Sour, and Yellow will take him down. Nomads now have to fight tooth and nail to retake onto the B bomb site. X, as you can see, going to try pushing his way into the hallway and see if he can get a flank off onto these final 3 attackers. See, Billboard does not have a flank hold right now, and Yellow is also inside of the... Oh no, what is this? X, what are you doing? Wasting so much time. Yellow going to establish himself on the flank, but X wins the fight regardless. Through the wall, what a shot. The fuse plant has gone down on the B bomb, and a retake now is going to be forced from the last 2 Nomads defenders. X, instead of going for the flank, is just going to try and confront these opponents directly. They know there's one on the north balcony, and Glitch is just overlooking the opponent right in front of his crosshair. The push from X, though, in the pre-fire, not able to bear fruit. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. A very confusing retake attempt from Nomads, and Sinister will completely collapse. Despite giving an abundance of opportunity to Nomads, none of those opportunities were seized upon.
Well, we were talking before about Sinister being sloppy. I would definitely label that attempted retake as pretty sloppy. They had the utility in terms of the firepower at least to be able to retake that. You saw the pre-fire attempts coming out from X. Yeah, he got the 1 kill from CCTV, but the rotate choice that he made to come in and just do a frontal assault with his teammate, not the right choice. He really should have been going for a flank into that office's door. Absolutely had the potential to work at that point. All they would have needed to do is worry about the one guy that was outside the window, and that's doable. That's a position that you can somewhat predict and control. I mean, it sometimes comes down to timing, but yeah, a bit of a misplay there from X, as well as some missed shots from the Bandit that could have worked. It's 1 round, but that was definitely not the greatest defensive round there from Nomads.
I mean, even more than that, there were some staring contests going on there for a little bit from Nomads. They had a lot of opportunities to just take out their enemies, and kind of a staggeringly large amount of situations where Nomads is unaware where their opponent is, where they really should be. So, I don't know. It's unlucky, is the word I would use to describe the play in that last round, but we'll see it equalize here 1-1. Sinister fighting back.
Yep. We'll see, though, if Nomads can continue some of the strength that they've had. As you mentioned, it'd be good if they could just get 2 rounds on defense. Would be enough of a start for them if they're as comfortable on attack on this map as they clearly were on Bank.
I mean, they might not be. For all we know, we could go on to the second half, and Nomads could be really not a border team. It's possible.
Well, in this case, Sinister should have a better defense because, I mean, it's my opinion, but I feel like you usually pick a map because you have a stronger defense on it, because that's the setup you can control the most of. I mean, yeah, you want to have great attack strats, you want to have good pushes and clears and things like that, but you can't, you have to adapt more as an attacker, whereas a defender, you can mostly control the setup. We'll see, though, if that will be the case once they go to the side switch. But Sinister, so far, 50-50 on their attacks.
And they have control of East Stairs, which is a really good first step. They've done so efficiently, and they're just looking for...
That felt like the slowest rappel on Earth.
Well, I mean, it was just weird. I mean, he dropped down and then rappelled back up. I'm not sure what he was thinking, but a little bit of inefficiency. You know, time does really matter when you're on attack, and that can cost you. I mean, it's a little thing, right? It's like 4 seconds, but whatever the case.
Momentum.
Momentum. Speaking of momentum, X trying to establish some as he pushes into the main hallway. This is a very dangerous and aggressive push. It could bear fruit, but it also might result in his death. The spray onto the top of East Stairs will do some damage to Billboard, but equal damage being done to X. So a bit of an exchange there. No one really feeling amazingly better about the fights, and they both walk away bruised and bloodied.
Yeah, X really going to get picked up here is a big deal because he's a 3 armor. That 50 HP that's left means a little bit more than it would if he was a little bit lighter. And Billboard also needing a reset here. A lot of resets coming out this round, but Cookie's at least finishing the kill now onto X, and that's going to be a big kill going into this. Now they just need to get Sour.
And there's going to be a final, X being finished off, as you said. That's an important kill. Sour, as you talked about in the linchpin position, where if he dies here, then there's not a lot of denial still available for Nomads, especially after Maestro has been finished off. The Evil Eye can still be used for information, but it cannot be used to deny a plant. Sour's position well given away, and the Capitao possibly with a Firebolt might be able to finish him off in that corner. We'll see. Talon's going to take out Thomas, so it's looking better and better for Sinister right now as they continue to collapse on the site. Billboard gets Sour as Sour vaults into the north balcony, but Rainbow from below with the C4 will get the yellow. So at least a little bit of damage done to Sinister. And Rainbow finally being shut down. It's just Glitch as the final defender. Attempting to rotate into the main hallway. He might be able to catch an opponent off guard, and yes, indeed, he does. That's Talon. He looks for more angles. He'll get a nice shot onto Billboard. Only 2 more targets left to go. But they know where Glitch is, and they know Glitch is on half HP. So this is still theoretically winnable for Nomads, but it's going to be all on Glitch's shoulders. As an individual player, he's been standing out a lot today. But can he really make it happen here and now? He's going to have to check deep inside of office to detect the Habana, who's hiding behind those PC walls. And he will vault it at the wrong moment, but Chap with his own vault. Look at that, through each other. Chap will come out on top. What a reaction and an odd engagement, to say the least.
I'm glad we got to see that kill cam as well, that from Chap's point of view.
Yeah, it was peculiar.
Well, I mean, I feel like that was a very good attempt by Glitch, though. He definitely tried to make it work.
Certainly a good attempt, but not enough in the end. And Sinister getting 2 rounds early on here. Nomads, like we talked about, they just need to get 1 or 2 more, and they're going to be very comfortable in the second half, but it seems like they're going to be struggling hardcore on Armory. Now they'll be going back to ventilation, but I gotta say, how close was that ventilation defense really? They barely won it. So, I don't know. It's not looking good for Nomads.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, I think the biggest problem was giving up the top floor too quickly. It gave them time to set up for that execute that they did onto the B side, which, did take them a while to set up for. You saw them kind of indecisive on what they wanted to do about the castle barricades. How do we want to attack this? Do we want to go for B, or do we want to pressure from another side? So, I was talking about at the beginning of that round, that first round, when they just needed to stay alive longer, but they did need to stay alive, to be fair. Although Jaeger can somewhat be expendable upstairs, as long as he's able to get a kill or burn enough time. But they just fell away almost immediately and just gave it up. And that was, I think the mistake that made that round such a struggle. But either way, they did win it, so there is that. And this is the one bomb site they have won. So going back to it, of course, makes sense because they defended the other bomb site 2 rounds. So now they finally can. But that's not what you want to defend on, right? Is defending what is normally the secondary bomb site only. We'll see if Tomas is oh no, he didn't stick it. I thought he was going to leave it up there because we saw what a problem that was for Yellow last time trying to get that Evil Eye. Not going to be stuck up there this time, though.
Ultimately, Nomads won this round last time because of Sinister's poor time management. And if Sinister can correct this, then it might not be an issue in this round. Also, as you talked about, the defense on the top floor from Nomads was very lackluster. They just fell away as soon as there was any sign of pressure, and that's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you don't have to take the engagements, but pre-fires through the soft walls are enough to make them think twice about entering, right? Because anytime they have to stop and drone, that is time that you get on that defense, right? That is time that can help you in those final seconds and don't potentially cost you anything other than a few bullets. I mean, yeah, maybe they can get a lucky shot back, but chances of that when you're just pre-firing before you drop a hatch is most likely going to work in your favor. They are going to still be playing this. They are getting set up to potentially drop the hatch soon, but thankfully for Rainbow, he was able to survive what could have been an easy kill from Cookies.
Yeah, those are the types of opportunities that you really want to seize if you're Cookies. Somebody just holding an angle like that is basically a free kill, but it just did not happen. Yellow will take out Thomas, so that's a really good kill. At least Sinister do manage to establish a lead, and onto the Maestro of all operators. We've seen this before, Maestro being the first one to die for Nomads. You really don't want that to happen, but here it has.
Well, in this case, though, they did only lose 1. They managed to fall off, and they managed to burn a minute and a half. But losing the Maestro was not the best one to lose. I always feel like losing the Jaeger might be a little bit better unless the Jaeger's going to go for a late roam and take advantage of his 3 speed to come around on them, which is his biggest asset along with his gun, which has been buffed slightly due to the recoil changes. So he can be very effective at longer angles now, even without that ACOG, but he's got to make use of it here by the fact that he's alive. Evil Eyes were at least still set up, although it looked like Thomas took a while to decide where to put them. Yellow getting down there by Rainbow, though. As I was just talking about the Jaeger, he does manage to get traded off, though, by Cookies.
Important trade there to keep the lead in Sinister's favor. Nomads, though, have managed to, if nothing else, take 1 body off the board for Sinister, and that's a very also important kill, as they have seemingly been struggling after the pushes come in the last dying seconds of the round. Speaking of dying seconds of the round, we're coming down to the last 30, and Sinister have yet to actually make their final push. They've got their lane opened up using that Habana, and they've got control over Bathroom. They've got to push through the gas canisters, though. They're using smokes to try and cover their push. But X has managed to make his way upstairs. Now, there is an attacker up here with him, and that's Talon, who will deny the denial of the defuse plant. But oh, what's this? Yet again, on the dying seconds of the round, the defuse plant has been denied due to Sour's excellent positioning. And a flick from Sour will also secure the kill onto Cookies. Another round here for Nomads.
Definitely a good one from Sour. Great play by him. They burned those smokes, not necessarily too early, but they didn't have enough of them to be able to firmly deny the plant despite those 2 alleys being open that they knew were going to be pushed in. So the fact that he was able to sneak around there, just lack of coverage from teammates in terms of getting that defuse down, because he kind of he had a distance to close to get to that position and no one there to stop him. I mean, a great read by Talon getting that kill on X upstairs, but just lack of coverage of the defuse planter is really what ultimately cost them. Even if that other guy had been at the door earlier on, probably would have been enough to potentially stop Sour. But great play by him, and that's that second round that we were talking about for Nomads, and that ties it up here. So whoever can get this last round, of course, goes into the second half with the point advantage. Ooh, Echo, there we go.
Echo, definitely a good 6 pick there. Vigil, an excellent operator, but Echo, I think we can both agree, indispensable.
Especially on this bomb site, maybe more so than the bottom one.
Definitely. Considering the way that Sinister has been attacking this, I think Nomads really wants to have that indirect denial because they've been struggling with holding either of their bomb sites, really, on this top floor.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're 2 for 2 on vents, but unfortunately they can't play that again on this last one. So this is where they need to learn from what they were doing wrong. They didn't seem to learn when it came to open area on Bank, despite playing it 3 times. So we could see a repeat of that in the case that, again, they go in with only 2 points because they continue to repeat a bomb site that they cannot win. But if they can win it, that's a big deal for Nomads, I think, for the second half. As you said, they may be much more comfortable on attack, and coming in with that early lead, you know, they may not get 4 attack rounds in a row again, but that still would be a nice start for them. We'll see if this, especially if this Echo can stay alive longer, that'll definitely be a big factor, as they don't have a smoke.
Yeah, Thomas has been dying really early on in a lot of these rounds on defense, so would be excellent for that for the backup of the Yokai drone.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big deal. Like I said, no smoke means that it's really on him, and he's going to have to find a good hiding spot and be on top of it. But he also has to have a lot of good timing is really the key to playing Echo right, because you need to know when to come off it and start, you know, helping your teammates out. You need to know when to switch to your second drone and how to manage both of those. There's a lot of skill to Echo, and I think that's something that we sometimes overlook is how much skill is involved in playing him, how much multitasking you're doing.
Yeah, he is the information king of defense. But not everybody can really pull him off. It's not as easy as some other operators in terms of information gathering.
I mean, luckily for Sour, you know, he's got his mute jammers up. All he needs to do is
what
get
a
C4,
nade.
but yeah, that's gonna hurt.
Perfectly placed from Yellow will do half damage to X and down Sour, who is also now going to be on 50 HP as a result. He did not follow it up with a second. Could have been an easy double kill, but it's not to be.
Well, that is unfortunate. He really could have, had he gone for that second one, have been able to pull that off. He might actually be able to get 2 kills out of it, because he might have been able to finish off X along with getting the kill on Sour. So unfortunate for Yellow, who gets, looked like maybe stunned there by the Echo drone. A little revenge from X.
Sour on very low HPs. You could see that Sinister is applying a lot of pressure from the open Habana hole in that wall. Cookie's looking to apply some pressure from outside, possibly going for a repel later, and trying to pinch onto the Nomads defenders.
Yeah, it looks like he's a little indecisive where he wants to approach from, but it is going to go up to the window. Yellow does finally finish off Sour with a second nade, though. It took a while, but he did the job. Now it's going to be on X to stay alive so he can slow down this plant as much as possible, because that flank coming out from Archive's window is going to start to distract them a little bit here. Actually, it's going to go on a sandwich window instead.
You can see the repel there over by Sandwich in the smokes to try and cover for the plant. This is a really well-coordinated push right now from Sinister. The Yokai drone's still in play, but it's not going to deny the defuse plant. The marks are happening, which is going to force Habana to move, but still no death to that Habana. Rainbow and Thomas get their own kills, and Nomads have somehow managed to get the man advantage. With the Yokai still in play, the defuse plant is continually being denied, but Cookies and Repel will get Rainbow before Glitch is able to refrag him. The push from Thomas will be shut down by Chapstick. And Yellow still in a really good position covering for that defuse plant. But the Yokai drone still in play. What is going on right now? X could deny this outright by himself. It seems it's finally been destroyed, but it might be too late. No, the TK from X. This is not happening right now. He knows where his two targets are, but he's not able to land the shots. And as he goes wide, it's looking worse and worse. Yellow and Chap both just waiting for the opportunity to get this frag. X on low HP, and he's checking all the wrong corners. The game sense is not with this Echo in this moment of time. He knows where the Habana is, but he doesn't know where the sledge is, and it doesn't matter. Even the Habana is able to get the kill. Sinister will take it 3-2 in the first half.
Oh, I wanted to give X so much credit for that round, for potentially saving it with his great Echo play, and then he goes and team kills.
Big whoops there.
It happens, though. I mean, it happens to the best of us, but it's definitely a case where it's going to cost them a round that they, in theory, might have been able to win, although they would have won it because of X, probably. So, you know, he giveth, he taketh away. They are going to go into it, at least with the 2 rounds that we were talking about for the second half. Fortunately, it looks like we are going to have to rehost for that second half again. So we'll just consider these perpetual tactical timeouts for teams on these round switches. I imagine we might also have to take a break for how long that takes. But either way, we will be getting into the second half of this somewhat shortly. And hopefully we could see some good back and forths and not a sweep like we saw last map.
Yeah, that round, man, that round is really disappointing for Nomads. Sinister managing to end it the same way they ended the first half of the first map. So
good point.
It's the exact same score. The orientation of the rounds were a little bit different, but still. Anyway, that does mean that we might see this yet again go completely in favor of Nomads once Nomads switches to attack.
Well, if it does, then that's it. No map 3.
Yeah,
so it's
no
on
map 3.
Sinister.
Somehow I doubt that, though. I have to imagine that we're going to be going to Oregon as our map number 3. I know that Sinister is very comfortable on board, obviously, because it's their map, so it's a given, right?
Well, they're going into their map pick on the second half with a point advantage, so.
Yeah, and Nomads, of course, this isn't their map pick, so there's not going to be that same familiarity that they had with Bank, but
it's not a new map.
It's border,
yeah,
man. It's border, so I can't imagine that they're not going to be they're not going to be uncomfortable, or that they are going to be uncomfortable. Pardon, but you know what I mean. It's probably going to favor Nomads in the end as they go to the second half, even though they did not get the win. So here we go. We're back into the match after that brief rehost.
We are seeing both teams actually wanting to bring Dokkaebi on this map, as well as Yellow actually sneaking in that Vigil. We'll see if Billboard can be as effective on Echo, though, as X was. But we also saw a repeat of Bank in so many ways, even going down to them playing the same bomb site 3 times in a row, or not in a row, but 3 times, and losing it 3 times. For the thing. So it seems like there's always one bomb site they're just bad at. But Cookies, the first to get slayed, great start getting that early kill. It wasn't the most important early kill, but that's certainly going to be one good fragger off the board. And is now going to be down to both a smoke and an echo. Now they've brought both, something that we didn't see from Nomads.
Yeah, and ultimately it's just a free kill there. That's That's really that's what was happening with Nomads when they were attacking on Bank as well. They were just getting a lot of frags just out of nowhere. So that might be telling of the future of this round and this match as a whole. Yokai Drone also immediately eliminated as it's been spotted out. Billboard with not the best positioning there.
No, he shouldn't have been moving it out in the open like that.
Kind of wonder how many people missed that that match we had earlier in Europe where Leon Gids was putting it on the lockers back there.
Yeah.
I mean, that spot was so powerful. How is it not being utilized? I think Billboard actually might be on it right now.
Ooh.
So we'll see if that plays a part in the coming round. It might be the linchpin that keeps Sinister in this round.
Well, it's definitely going to be something that they need despite the point advantage because this attack is still going fairly well. Still a minute left. They have not lost anyone on this attack. They've nearly gotten a second kill there. Almost taken down Chala. Now a lot of the smokes have already been burned and the plant is going down.
The Yokai Drone has actually missed what has just happened. Glitch will get a Claymore kill as well. Oh no, Billboard.
Wow.
You can't let it happen like that, man. Rainbow takes down Bill as well, so the Yokai Drone's no longer in play. They'll give information, but nothing more. Talon trying to peek wide, looking for a fight, but look how safe Nomads is playing. X will shut him down behind half wall. The push from Smoke will also be eliminated. Chap does get a kill, but it's low impact as Glitch finally finishes him off. Nomads.
What a shutdown.
What an attack onto the armory.
I'm thinking maybe your faith in their attacks was not misplaced.
At least, I mean, if that one round is gonna, you know, dictate the rest of this match, then yeah, it's all but over.
That was definitely good. I mean, that just evens it up, to be fair. It's not a situation where Sinister is suddenly losing. But
the cascade we saw on the previous map, will it happen here? Because it certainly looks like it.
We're seeing a lot of repeats. Now, in this case, Montaigne was not banned on this map, so Nomads is actually going to bring it. Now, they were the one to ban it last time on Bank as well, which is interesting. But
I guess just giving dues to the operator itself.
In this case, though, Six picking off and just messing with Sinister's mind.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, Monty. It could have been a Monty versus Clash situation too, but not going to happen now.
I played against that guy in ranked. Yeah, I played against that guy who just got banned in ranked like two days ago. Bye-bye.
Rip.
That's nice to see.
Yeah.
Have you noticed actually recently? So remember like 2-3 months ago we had a huge crisis with all the cheaters, and then like it's like they're gone now.
Yeah, like somewhere around Grim Sky it seemed like just slaughter of them.
Just evaporated, man.
It's nice to see. I mean, it comes and goes in waves, but great to see that we're continuing to keep this game clean and fun.
Thanks, Ubisoft.
Thank you.
Sinister now going to the armory again. So they're not going to be rotating to ventilation. They've chosen to stick it out. I think it makes sense that they would do that given that they lost that last round on a lot of little mistakes that can be corrected. The Yokai Drone play in armory was unfortunate. Billboard has as such rotated to Clash. And then also some free kills were given to X in the early stages of the round. These things are correctable.
What's funny, though, is we're, again, even seeing more of a repeat. Because if you think about it, the failed first round on Bank for Sinister on defense was also on a Lockers site.
Yeah.
And it was also Clash involved. Although in this case, it's the second round. But it's like, you know, the rhyming, the repeating here is it's always funny to see when it technically has no reason to repeat itself. But that's, of course, you know, it's not a foregone conclusion whatsoever. But Capitao certainly a great counter to Billboard here. If he lands this shot here, that's going to do a lot of damage. And he's certainly going to land a little bit. Not a ton, though. At least he has one more arrow to work with, but that's going to force Bill right on off that door.
You can see Talon is active bandit tricking, and he has managed to take, I believe, one of those thermite charges. This might be able to get a second one. There is a narrow piece of land there for him to use, but Sour will cover effectively, and Talon will fall back behind lockers. The safe call there for Talon and Sinister as a whole, but also a little bit of potential lost. If they had been able to deny that A-wall, then they might have had a much easier go of this round. But I think they're going to be relying on Billboard, using that flash to try and apply the pressure and deny the outright push.
Well, we'll see they are starting to open up some angles. He hasn't used, or no, he has used his other firebolt. So that means Billboard's actually going to be a lot less counterable now, which is definitely going to be a little bit of a problem. They can take advantage of Sour's concussion grenades fired out to do some damage to him. But Bill is going to be a little bit of a thorn in their side, although Yellow is certainly not going to be at this point. Tomas, the first to fall to Bill there. A great kill. And he's going to go right back on the prowl.
Another one as well for Talon. Sour eliminated, but what is going on? The diffuser is being planted. Such a distracted defensive force as they attempt to flank, and X will actually get a kill after planting the diffuser. Glitch gets Cookies holding the flank, and the clash is not enough to cover these defenders. It's just Chap and Bill, but Bill gets another kill as X finally shuts down Chap in the site. It's not enough for Bill to clutch it out, and Nomads will win, playing the objective pure and simple.
Yeah, that roam from Bill, while fun, was not as effective as he would have liked because he was taking 2 people off the site defense in that case. Because you mentioned earlier, when you're in a 2vx or whatever and you've got a clash, it's not a great situation to be in because you're depending on that other person. That's exactly what happened. I mean, he did manage to get some damage going, but yeah, it was just not the right situation.
Bill was one of the most lethal operators on that defense as a solo, right?
True.
And he had the support from his teammates, but damn, it's just not enough, man. It's not enough.
Yep. Well, they're going to try lockers one more time here.
3rd time's the charm.
Right. I mean, in theory, they could keep going until they lose completely, but they're definitely going to try it again this time with Billboard back on the Echo, which is better than what we saw with Clash, although at least he didn't fall victim to Capitao, which was good. I mean, I got to imagine he saw him from the doorway and knew that was potentially coming. It was more just trying to bait out that fire arrow at that point. But there is going to be the Capitao again this time, though. No Clash to shoot with it. However, they did a decent job of dealing with the Echo last time, as Bill just couldn't hit from that second one. You were talking and all hyping up that Leon Gitz spot, and it didn't even work.
That's not necessarily the fault of the spot, is it now?
No, it is certainly not. But it just shows you can't just copy what another player does and get instant success.
Right. Something that needs to be practiced, and I'm sure that it will be after this. Sinister going into this were definitely the ones expected to be victorious. I think this would the match is. You're looking at this and you're anticipating it going all the way. You're thinking, okay, yeah, Oregon, but you're also thinking in the back of your head, Sinister, they've got so much more experience, and many of their players have pro league experience. Yeah. Whereas you look at Nomads, and these guys, a lot of these names are just not as well known, and it's because they haven't been around for as long. They don't have that experience.
Well, they're certainly making themselves known now.
Oh, heck yeah, man! This is a really stellar performance from Nomads. It's very impressive. You know, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm trying to think about who I'm going to be nominating for the MVP, and it's hard. It's hard, man. There's so many different names on Nomads that could be selected. Yeah,
it's definitely going to be the case where Nomads are, like I was talking about that before, where Nomads, a lot of their players are showing up, whereas we're not seeing that same level of equality from Sinister. I haven't seen these moments where, like, I'm seeing round after round of multiple people on the team just being like, oh, well, Cookies had a lot of great kills, and then Chala had some great kills, and then Talent. It's just been, like, some one-offs, it seems like, from a lot of these guys. But either way, I mean, it's not like they're way behind at this point.
Not really sure what the purpose was behind the smoke. I gotta imagine it was a mistake, but maybe he's just trying to bait someone into the peak. I mean, that would make sense with the pre-fires. Either way, some wasted utility there for Thomas.
Yeah, smoke grenades are a little more valuable than that use right there. There definitely could have been something to that strategy that we just weren't seeing. There was the deployable shield there, and that might have been part of what he was trying to deal with. But nonetheless, it didn't seem to have whatever its intended goal was, as he didn't really get much out of it, sadly. But he still has one left, so hopefully he's going to make that other one count. They did open up the offices wall here, though, instead of trying to take from the front. Smart of Nomads to try and change things up a little bit, though, because, of course, Sinister are trying to refine what they were doing, so Nomads are going to undermine that by just switching up their attack strategy.
And pushing from the offices is definitely a solid attack strategy, especially considering there's nobody in B.
Yeah.
So as soon as Nomads manages to open this wall, they will probably read that, oh, hey, it's free. Talon's in the hallway, and he's trying to lay down some fire to be a little bit destructive on this take, but still, he's not able to deny the plant in the middle of the site. Oh, I spoke too soon. Talon will actually get the kill. Great positioning here. And amazing that he hasn't been killed yet. He will get a second one, and Cookies will get the third. So Nomads have been completely swept under the rug as Yellow takes out Rainbow, leaving just Glitch alive. A perfect round for Sinister. Despite the fact that there was no one in B, they managed to hold B from the hallway.
Well, we won't see the sweep this time, thankfully. Great plays by Talon, though, that round. You were thinking even he wouldn't pull certain things off. He was missing some shots potentially on the window in offices, and still managed to make it work in the end. So great play by him as they finally win lockers, and very confidently so. It's we see why maybe Nomads weren't going for that attack earlier, despite the advantage they had in that it wasn't being covered. But the quick swing around with the ACOG on that LMG is so destructive. We'll see how they fare on customs, though. This is not... I personally think this bomb site is not great, just because there's so few teams successfully winning it without that mirror. And I think there was even one time where it wasn't banned and still not used and then lost. It's just... It's a struggle of a site to defend at times. It's not that it isn't without tons and tons of potential. I'm not seeing it realized often. Seems it reminds me a lot of open area on Bank.
No, I agree. I think it definitely doesn't see as much success as other sites, but it's viable.
Absolutely.
To the point where you can make it work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with Sinister's choice to try and do this, though.
Yeah,
I think
it's better.
Knowing Nomads, or watching the way that Nomads has been playing, I'm expecting them to see this site and just go for an isolate passport, thermite the wall that's being highlighted right now, and go for the plan. Now, clearly, Sinister is accounting for that. They've got the barbed wire set up for it. They got the grenades, the ADS set up for it. They've got everything really set up to hold that corner, and I'm sure they'll have a lot of
bandit or mute, though.
Yeah, for this moment, and I'm sure they'll open up some holes above that default plant spot. But even if that's not what Nomads go for, I'm thinking they're going to be able to find a way to isolate somewhere and plant with relative ease. That's one thing that's really stood out for me for Nomads is they're very good at playing the objective.
Yeah, and that is the name of the game, and that's why so far they're coming out ahead. It's a tied score right now, but they came out ahead on the first map, and they have the potential to here if they can exploit. And like you said, just kind of read and play for the objective, because the objective is being left somewhat open, and depending on fighting it from above, in a case where they're not doing a whole lot to really slow down a push. And of course, X is just going to walk right up and open jail first, and then rotate around. They are going to have, I imagine, clear passport fairly quickly, and he can get set up for that once he's done droning. Unless they just want to play for A for some weird reason.
I mean, it's not defended directly right now. There are a lot of players above it who will be denying those pushes, but there's no one actually in A right this minute. An interesting fight here Rainbow is trying to find against Chap. It's not going to be necessarily very easy, but he knows there's an opponent directly above him, and he's looking for his opportunity. Rainbow's in a great position, to be honest. If he can make this turn into a kill or two, it could easily get the round. Missing the yokai drone, though, Bill will spot out Rainbow and call it to his teammate, but Yellow decides to use the shift button instead of the mouse 2 button, and he will meet his death because of it. Now, these positions from Nomads continue to get better and better. The only thing they have to worry about is that vertical pressure, but it doesn't seem to be that bad. As Sour takes out Billboard, Talon will refrag onto Sour. And it's not all over here for Sinister, but they've lost a lot of control of their own site.
Yeah, it's definitely the case where they've, maybe they've spread out a bit too much, but Talon seems to be the only one really holding this off at the moment.
Yeah.
He's gotten both the kills so far.
And he was the one to really stand out in the previous round. So it all seems to be on Talon's shoulders right now. The question is, will he be shut down, or will he be able to deny plant after plant after plant? The Castle of Cookies looking to deny his own plant here from above using these holes, but he will be lit up in the process. X is very exposed as he plants the diffuser, but it looks like it will actually not go down. X finished off by guess who? Talon, and another for Talon. The 4K for the player. He is absolutely on fire right now. Glitch, the final attacker, gonna push up these main stairs trying to address that Maestro finally, but it's not gonna happen. Talon shutting down Nomads.
With the ace and 2 of the kills, at least, from the Bailiff, nonetheless.
Very impressive for him. And if it weren't for Talon, they would have lost the last round too. He was playing in the hallway. Sinister just could not do without this player right now.
Absolutely. Talon is the yellow of this map, I guess.
It seems so.
So, well done. They are finally going to go to vents after successfully defending customs there. But I still think that was a good take by Nomads. They just couldn't seem to fight Talon upstairs to get that extra pressure that they needed. Maybe a little too much committed to downstairs. They needed a little bit more pressure above to stop them from being able to look down. They were very close to getting that plant down, though. Had they been able to do that, they would have forced a lot of hard rotates for the defenders, and they might have been able to win that despite Talon's kills. There's a sneaky 6 pick for both players. So Billboard's going to go onto the Pulse instead of the Echo. He has been exposing his drones quite a bit, so maybe that's a good choice for him.
Yeah, in that last round, as much as it was impressive that Talon managed to put in so much work, it also was entirely Nomad's fault that that was allowed to happen. All throughout that round, Nomads had the opportunity to plant, and instead they chose to be a little bit too concerned with where they were planting. Definitely overthinking the way they were playing the round, and it would have been nice to see them just, make a considered effort to get the diffuser down, but they chose to plant in probably the worst possible spot.
Yep. Well, either way, they're not out yet, but they've got to get a point just to go to overtime at this point. If not, then of course we go to map 3 as soon as this round is over, if Sinister can take it. So far, they've been doing pretty good after losing those first 2 rounds. It just seems like Glockers was their big struggle. But who knows, maybe they'll struggle on vents as well, and we'll end up in that overtime situation, and depending on who gets what side, could see a comeback again from Nomads.
Yeah, I mean, I really expected them, or by them I mean Nomads, to have won that last round. It seemed like they had it. Ultimately, it's just one man to stand against the tide, I suppose. Of course, again, that being Talon. Now, Nomads are going to start opening up the jail wall. So basically, when you open this up, you can then move your way over to storage, which is the adjacent room. And from storage, you can apply a lot of pressure to the site itself. And you're also going to see Rainbow using one of his Ash charges to open up the passport wall. So all these crossfires being established for Nomad to try and push Sinister back into the site. And they've been pretty successful in that endeavor.
We'll see if they can actually continue that pressure, though, because, yeah, you should corral them up like fish in a barrel, but of course they start to become caged animals at that point as well. Sour going to be the one to actually take that out, so it's good that he spotted that Evil Eye, though it looks like he's actually reconsidering for a second there and wants to make sure he's not going to get taken advantage of while doing it. In the meantime, vertical pressure also going to potentially come out from Thomas there, who is upstairs with that buck, so they've got a lot working for them here. But like I said, they're just mostly getting forced back to site because they haven't gotten any of those important kills yet.
See the pulse of Billboard in a good position to gather information for his team, but he's actually going to fall off of it. It's a good position, but it was also somewhat dangerous. X is going to get a kill, as X does, onto Chapstick. He's been fragging out a lot as this Thermite, really very noticeably. And Rainbow's going to start pushing his way up the main stairs. There's an opponent, I believe, inside of Archives, which is a dangerous position to take into. As Billboard takes out X, though, the fragging power for Nomads is lessened. You can see Cookies has been lit up, so it's not all lost for Nomads. They still got a little bit of a hedge in terms of HP, and they're also going to be pushing their way into Armory as well as the main hallway. Rainbow seeing his opponent, but not registering the head of the Pulse. Thomas upstairs is going to take down Talon for whipping out the Skeleton Key and looking for more fights. Billboard, another kill for him. That's 2. Now 3 for Billboard in the round. Yellow's going to take Thomas, so it's just Rainbow now in a 1 versus 3. Billboard has been downed, and there's still a lit Cookies, so this is possible for Rainbow, but he's got to deal with Yellow first. For some reason, an oversight there. Rainbow walked right on by the diffuser, which was down on the floor, and now he's looking to fight his opponent on the top floor with only 17 seconds. Oh no! He saw Yellow and he finally shut him down, but now he has no time. He's given himself away to Cookies, but Cookies does not seize the opportunity, and this might actually be an attempted plant. What is going on right now? What are you doing, Rainbow?
What did you
I have no idea what I just witnessed. An attempted clutch, but ultimately a thrown round from Nomads, and that's 3 thrown rounds in a row. They had the map, and they just gave it back to Sinister.
He could have planted almost anywhere at that point. He could have just planted at that desk in B and been in such a good spot to play the windows or all kinds of angles.
I mean, I guess the reason he didn't do it is because he couldn't know where his opponents was. There was an Evil Eye still in B.
Just hoping to frag it out, I guess.
You know, which would have called out the information, but still, yeah, honestly, planting the threshold of the doorway of B. You don't have time, man. You just don't have time. I mean, even if you sprint into the other site and you see your enemy, you're still mid-sprint. There's no opportunity for you to stop running